y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, back at it again, bringing you yet another episode of Switch's Sights, episode 39 to be exact. You already know, we back at it, or something like that, I think. Yeah. Today's date is January 23rd, 2020. We deep in 2020. We deep in it. Some interesting stuff going on this week. I guess really that's pretty much almost every week, but I digress. Okay. Interesting topics we can talk about, or we are going to talk about. So let's get into it. AKA, make my nipples soft. AKA, go into the basement and, give me a cold pack of 5. AKA, who put the damn butter in the damn, freaking medicine cabinet? What is wrong with you? Do better. Getting into the news. The first is basically the cusp. I like saying that word apparently. Of the next generation. Well, I guess the next generation of everything, really. If we want to get really deep into it, next generation of everything, including graphics cards. So in particular, we've been hearing some rumors of the Nvidia Geforce RTX 380 and Nvidia Geforce RTX 3070 leak specs. Apparently, up to 20 gigabytes of GDDR6 RAM. That is ridiculous. What are you gonna do with all that RAM? Probably nothing. Just Nvidia just buffing them damn, just flexing them damn muscles. Just how much is gonna be powerful, more powerful than the Xbox One or Xbox One Series X or PS5. Just to temper any expectations that there was gonna be any competition. Nvidia was like, you know what? No, they're not gonna do that. Let's just let this be known. We gonna be the best in the business, all right? PC master race will always be the master race. You hear me? Nobody gonna come to this. We gotta show these fools trying to step on our turf. Because when you think about it, the next gen consoles are essentially gonna be PCs. I mean, technically, even arguably, we could say even these consoles currently, our current gen consoles are PCs as well. But I digress. So for the GeForce RTX 3080, 10 to 20 gigabytes GDR6, 320-bit memory interface, 60 SMs. I don't even know what that means, and I work in IT. Is that a problem? Probably. 3,480 stream processors. That's a lot. All these numbers to make you, feel inadequate and, just horrible. My 1080 Ti looking real weak right now in comparison. My 1080 Ti is like, you know what? Let me wrap it up. I'm getting a little old. I'm getting a little too old for this. Let me just retire real quick. So yeah. So going to the RTX 3070, 8 to 16 gigabytes GDDR6. I believe that's up to the manufacturer in terms of, there's like Asus Gigabyte, EVGA. They can all make different SKUs, I believe. So I think they have those options. Then we have 256-bit memory interface, 48 SMs, and 3072 stream processors. So, yeah, gonna be beefy. Gonna be real beefy. If you on that keto diet, boy, you gonna get so much beef. you're gonna get so much damn beef coming up. Not sure if the TIs are gonna be with this. I guess it's safe to assume so, but at least now they've been releasing these alongside the TI models or versions, which are the even more powerful versions. So it's hard to or I guess they could potentially just stagger it like they did I think with the 1080s, where there's the 1080, then like maybe a couple months after they released the 1080 Ti. So who even knows at this point? I don't know. But I think like spring, like April, May is normally new card season. So I think that's probably a safe assumption to anticipate the releases of these new cards. So it's time to get buff. It's time to get buff with all these graphics. It's a great time. Yeah, I may potentially upgrade, and then now it's like nowadays too, how I was very much an advocate for whatchamacallit. What do you call it? Using SLI for your graphics cards, which in most cases give you equally as much power as like maybe the best graphics card, like in terms of a I don't know. I don't even know. In terms of, like a very high Intel enthusiast grade graphics card, So it depends really. It depends. It depends. So at least nowadays it seems like SLI is not really feasible anymore, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But who knows? And I mean, who really knows? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because like, SLI, yeah, it's just not feasible. None of the developers use it, or like from a utilizing SLI in terms of using two graphics cards. It seems like everything is just going to a centralized one card solution. So that's probably what I'll go to now, at least the next time, at least whenever I do decide to upgrade. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Moving on. So there's some rumors that Sony is working on a new horror IP. Very interesting stuff. Apparently it is from Team Gravity, who were the folks that used to work on the Silent Hill series, Siren as well. I've not played Siren. I've definitely played Silent Hill. So that's gonna be pretty interesting to see what they do. Maybe some spiritual successor to Silent Hill. I doubt they do that because it's still kind of ongoing. And then that kind of leads to another news topic I did have. Yeah, actually that does line up pretty well. Which we'll talk about in a bit, but at least for this initially, I'm definitely all for horror games. I'm a big fan of the horror genre. It's pretty great. But yeah, that's all we really know. We don't really know too much in terms of detail other than that of the people involved. So I'm pretty sure we'll hear something at the well, probably the coming soon PS5 reveal at some point, at least in February or eventually. I don't know. So that's cool. Yeah, I'm all for original new horror IP. That's gonna be pretty dope. Exclusive to PlayStation 5. That's gonna be pretty tight if it actually pans out. So depending on what it is. So yeah, piggybacking off that story, Speaking of Silent Hill, apparently Konami, well, not Konami themselves, there is at least multiple Silent Hill titles in development. So, that's going to be interesting considering, the people who formerly worked on Silent Hill are moving on to something else. And then I guess I'm at least going by past behavior. Konami's probably like out reaching out to independent devs and then having them or basically outsourcing the games or whatever or IPs for them to develop or something like that. I'm guessing, going by past behavior. So that's yeah. I am not excited about that because I mean, we're talking about Konami here, who gave us post Kojima's unfortunate departure. Not necessarily, I guess, in retrospect, not necessarily, but Metal Gear Survive, huh? Yeah, Game of the Year, right? Contra Road Core, huh? It was nominated for Game of the Year, right? Yeah, right. So I mean, consider that track record. It can only go up from here, right? Actually, it can. Well, I mean, you never know. It could go even lower than what is even possible. Possibly lower. So, yeah, yeah. I'm not looking forward to it. They have to get some really substantial devs to kind of work on this, for it to be any type of redeeming, game, especially considering Silent Hills, the demo or PT, the demo. It's hard to say, man. It's very hard to, you know, yeah, that's really difficult, man. Yeah, it's hard to, you can't top something like Silent Hills. I guess best case they could try to emulate what Hideo was envisioning, but even then, that's even possibly potentially even worse when you think about it. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario, really. But I mean, hey, I would at least it would I would give it a chance somewhat in terms of okay, what are they gonna do with this? How are they gonna address the elephant in the room that it was PT and stuff like that? I don't know. Yeah, I think if it's nobody, if it's nobody other than Kojima and Guillermo del Toro, I am very skeptical, highly skeptical, until proven otherwise. So uh, yeah, probably just gonna be yet another horrible entry in the series that will further bring Silent Hill into this downward spiral of just horrible survival horror ishness. That sounds pretty accurate, I'd say. Not gonna dwell on that in general, but moving on. Dying Light 2, continuing the delay train. Choo choo. Everybody get on a delay train. I gotta do the voice. Every Everybody get on the delay train. Choo choo. I don't want to get on it though. I'm not gonna get on it though. So yeah, Dying Light 2 is joining the fun in delays. I'm not even sure if Dying Light got even a date, a release date. I guess they gave a release window. So I guess we can I'll read verbatim the letter from Dying Light, the CEO of Techland, the developer of Dying Light 2. To our dedicated community, it was a busy year for us as we continued working on our biggest project to date. We know you are awaiting the game eagerly, and we want to deliver exactly what we promised. We were initially aiming for a spring 2020 release with Dying Light 2, but unfortunately, We need more development time to fulfill our vision. We will have more details to share in the coming months, and we'll get back to you as soon as we have more information. We apologize for this unwelcome news. Our priority is to deliver an experience that lives up to our own high standards and to the expectations of you, our fans. Please stay tuned, and thank you to our fans around the world for your continued support, patience, and understanding. Howell Markachinka. I totally butchered that name. So, cookie cutter, PRE spin on, yeah, sorry, we're going to need more time. Which, I'm still a advocate for that, even though I just heard recently that delays actually cause more crunch, technically, I guess, when you think about it, which most people don't really think about, including myself, but it's kind of unfortunate. I guess I'm getting Dying Light 2 mixed up with Dead Island 2, which is even more delayed, since that was announced 2014, and 6 years in development purgatory, really. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Leave me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, really nothing much about Dying Light. I mean, yeah, a delay is a delay. A delay is a delay. It's obviously got to be better than what it would be if it were to release on track. So I don't know. In other news, in terms of, I guess in relation to delays, in terms of the recent news about Cyberpunk being delayed on last episode, the reason for it being delayed is or the rumor going around at least, is that it's being delayed due to the current gen console performance, specifically the base consoles, not actually Xbox One X or PS4 Pro, but actually the base version, so Xbox One and PS4, probably of the latter, or the prior. Probably using that terminology wrong, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. The first option, okay. Let's keep it basic. The Xbox One original or OG Xbox One, but then there already is an Xbox One. The naming convention is kind of very just convoluted when you think about it, but the base Xbox One, I guess, yeah, because it's not the Xbox One X. The original Xbox One, that's still, you get what I'm saying. The base Xbox One is probably the biggest difficulty or issue with them developing, I would assume. I think the PS4 may be a little bit less, but not much. Definitely made more powerful than the Xbox One base. So it makes sense considering how ambitious at least they're making Cyberpunk 2077 to be. It's understandable. But I'm pretty sure with time they'll figure out some loopholes and some trickery that those geniuses at CD Projekt Red will probably figure out. It always fascinates me to see how people can program in general, because I mean, I get the concept, but I could not do it. It's just trying to look at language and try to understand it. That's just like a pain, man. It's just a pain. It sounds like a pain, Just but yeah, it totally makes sense that it's getting held back by the previous gen consoles. And now with the date that they're pushing it up to be, which I think we talked about last episode, seems like it might just be cross gen straight up, like where, you know, and maybe that'll be announced at like E3 or something like that. That it will be, you know, released alongside pretty much all consoles. Basically, I would guess. But I mean, yeah, if given a choice, if we could just cut off base Xbox One at this point, I mean, I think that would be the best choice. But I mean, that's the only thing holding them back. It's kind of unfortunate. So if we had if we were given two options, like would you rather stick with the Xbox, or you know, have us delay the game for base Xbox One specifically, or wait until September till we have the game optimized for the base consoles, then but then again, I'm speaking from a point where I do have the mid-tier upgraded consoles, so maybe I'm not the best source, but at least personally, I'm all for just making things go forward rather than stay stagnant. And I think having, you know, this tiered console system where technically the weakest console is pretty much going to hold you back from a development standpoint. It's hard to kind of overlook. Because I think I feel like a lot of, especially gaming enthusiasts, at least what I consider myself as well, it's hard to not, you know, overlook that. Really, it's just like one way or another is gonna freaking hold the current generation back in one way or another. So I mean, that's normally what happens during this time in terms of, you know, the wake of the next generation of games, consoles. So I just hope it doesn't become a permanent thing. And then, you know, kind of going on that same topic with Xbox One Series X, where they're kind of doing the same thing, at least for their exclusives. That might potentially hold them back too, or I don't know. Maybe they could have some really cool scalability options that will make it, you know, more feasible. Or if anything, if the Xbox One X now becomes the base console, or you know, cut off, if you will, or the minimum to enjoy current generation's games, that might be the best, I guess, solution, which it more than likely probably will be, because Xbox One is just very antiquated in that sense now. You know, what, 7 years since the new or previous generation. So we'll see. I'm interested to see how that turns out. Moving on. In that Gundam news, a new Gundam has been announced. Gundam EX versus Maxi Boost on very Japan. I have to give it to it. So yeah, I am not gonna totally preface this that I am not the biggest or hugest or, you know, even remotely big Gundam fan. I do like the games though. The games are pretty fun. My friend in particular, Haley, he's like hardcore damn Gundam all the way. Gundam, give me Gundam. But me, I don't. But the games are fun. I will give it that. So, to see this be announced is pretty cool. Apparently, Gundam Versus which was the game that was previous to this that came to consoles. Apparently, is not the best entry in the series, but this is apparently, at least from what I hear, the second coming of Jesus in Gundam form. I guess. I don't know. But pretty cool though either way. I think they also recently announced that it is coming to the West as well. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'll probably give it a shot. But yeah, all in all, pretty cool. So if you're in a Gundam and you know want to live out those fantasies of hitting other people with your Gundam of choice, there's no better option than Gundam versus EX versus Maxi Boost on. I don't know why when I say Maxi Boost, I think Maxi Pad. I think that's a safe correlation, right? Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, yeah. Oh boy. Next in news. Toshihiro Nagoshi, the savant, the god of the beloved series that's very dear to my heart, Yakuza. He was interviewed recently from Dual Shockers in regards to, I guess, post release of, or probably promotion for Yakuza 7, which is going to be Yakuza Like a Dragon in the West. But basically, it came out recently, last week, technically, in Japan only. But it's coming later in, I think, in the summer for us in the West. So basically, in the interview, in regards to his thoughts on the internet in Yakuza 7 in particular after developing it, he said that making Ryuga Gotoku 7, which is Yakuza 7 in Japan, or the name for Yakuza 7 in Japan, which actually translates to Like a Dragon, which is the subtitle for Yakuza 7 here, which is pretty damn meta, kind of like Biohazard 7, Resident Evil 7, Biohazard. But I'm sidetracking. Okay, let's get back. So making Ryuga Gotoku, I'm bitching that. Ryuga Gotoku 7 into an RPG was a big challenge. For the next game, we can keep going with RPG and make something that surpasses it. We can also go back to action. We could also make a hybrid system mixing action and the new RPG system. All of these are possible scenarios. So after that, he spoke further, kind of elaborating on that. So personally speaking, I want to keep going through the same road and see what we could improve. For example, making a battle system even more enjoyable by adding new functionalities related to the terrain and the battle areas. We could also strengthen the company management mode, things like that. But for now, I don't want to think about all that yet. Ha ha ha, laughs. So very very concerning in a few ways for, a lot of fans that were, include myself, Yakuza fans that are fans of the traditional beat 'em up style, and for this to kind of at least insinuate that he's gonna continue on the RPG road, I guess, depending on overall reception of the game, which I think, at least from what I hear, is pretty good for, a first effort transition into a new genre. I don't know. It's hard to see this not going back. It's hard to see this going back to action after, making such a bold choice to go to the RPG system. Yeah, it's unfortunate because it's like this Yakuza was one of the very few beat 'em up games that, were current and, still long lasting. But it's like now it's possibly going to be a thing of the past, depending on, what's the next release. I was discussing it on the thread, the infamous thread, which is Reset Era, regarding it. But a lot of valid points. I mean, me personally, I think I've discussed this before. I know I have. Like I played the demo somewhat within a couple months ago, and it was okay. I could see myself getting in the groove of it, getting invested, and seeing it to its end. But it will still be something in the back of my head. It's like, this could have been even much cooler, more fun as an action game, personally. But yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, it's definitely going to depend on what the next game is. We'll know for sure whether or not, we'll be sticking to RPG road or going the action route. And personally, I don't even think I'd really like the passive RPG or mix between the two, like Final Fantasy 7. I kind of would want just straight up beat 'em up action, or unless maybe they could engineer it some way to appease both sides. I guess I could see that. It depends. I guess I just have to see it in motion. But as of now, I'm still disappointed this isn't still a beat 'em up currently, as I feel it should, because that's where I feel personally where it really shines, having that unique blend of beat 'em up action and various weird side stories and mini games and things like that. So only time will tell, really. I'm pretty sure, you're probably waiting on a reception in Japan and the West, probably more so Japan, and then see what happens after that. I really do hope it becomes beat 'em ups though, or goes back to beat 'em ups. But then I know people have suggested basically kind of doing best of both worlds, where the mainline Yakuza will transition to RPG, unfortunately, but you'll have kind of a alternate or parallel path where Judgment, maybe that series continues to some way, where that will still stick to the traditional beat 'em up formula of a Yakuza game still, or something like that. Even that would be fine, whether it releases both in the same year or alternate each year. That'd be fine, as long as I get some outlet to kind of have that cool Yakuza looping fun. So kind of hurts my heart a bit, but at the same time I get it. He kind of wants to expand his horizons, kind of wants to spread his wings and do something that he consistently does, which is understandable. So it hurts, but I'll heal. Next in news, apparently somebody leaked the model for the Xbox One Series X, and man, dude had no shame, just like posted a picture, didn't even bother to cover up the serial number or nothing. So apparently they showed the specs of, obviously they showed the form factor of the Xbox Series X, but they didn't necessarily show it in a, I guess real life settings, or, see all the ports in the back and stuff like that, even though we got little tidbits of details here and there. But at least, from this user on Twitter, Doug Drago, X, he did reveal the Xbox Series X form factor, and actually kind of like from a realistic standpoint now, seeing it kind of like in person, if you will, or unrealistically, realistically compared to the kind of surrealism, seeing it like as a concept in a video, it really doesn't look as big as it's been made out to look. Like, at least it's made to look very tall and like just towering, but it doesn't even look that tall. I guess it could be the angle, but it looks pretty decent as in terms of form factor, which was my concern too, because more than likely it will be replacing my Xbox One X in the same spot. But then it's concerns like, man, it's way taller than my Xbox One X, and thick. But it looks like it'll fit in the same way, if not, and it's kind of compact in other ways too, so that's kind of cool. At least kind of helps me set aside any like worry I had about like where to actually put it, even though it seems like it's insinuated to put it on its top and not the side, but yeah, it's fine. But it does have all the essential ports I definitely care about. You got your SPDIF or optical SPDIF, aka optical. Ethernet, of course. I want to say, I think that they say that could be 10 gigabit if we ever get to that point. Um, what's interesting is it's this weird ass long rectangle port, and it's like shown by the same icon on the bottom. I'm curious what that is for. Maybe that's just some weird random placeholder thing, since it is a prototype model, because it has like Xbox product name placeholder prototype not for sale. Um, everything. Have your HDMI ports, so that does debunk some of the rumors people were having that like it would be two HDMI ports again. At least I was thinking now this go around that would be maybe for 8K, because I know at least for PCs, I think it depends on the PC, but in terms of 8K, for some TVs you have to use like two display ports or two HDMI or something like that to get it to work. I'm not sure if HDMI works in that same sense though. Maybe it doesn't need that. I think it's more dependent on the TV than the device, but either way, or the traditional sense that was on the Xbox line of devices, which is in and out for having a pass through of a cable box through your Xbox or something like that. So, this seems pretty realistic in terms of pretty much very close to the Xbox One X and previous consoles in that respect. So fortunately there's no proprietary ass connect port, so that's good. All in all, looking pretty great. I approve. I like the unique bold kind of take on it, where it's kind of reminiscent of the 360, but yeah, when you kind of think about it, it's like if a 360 and an Xbox just had nasty sex, but would that be incest because they're both in the same family? That's just getting real too technical, but you get it. If you combined, let's be more safe. If you combined the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One, you'll probably get the Series X, which technically I guess you could say is somewhat the same thing, but I digress. So pretty cool. And yeah, you have the USB port on the front. I think what looks to be the sync button near the USB port, that would make a lot of sense. And the disc eject button and the disc tray at towards the bottom. So all in all, I approve. I know people don't like the name, but I mean, at the end of the day, we'll just call it Xbox until we need to specify it anymore anyway. So what does it even matter? Cool. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all the news I really wanted to get to, at least. So let's get into what I've been playing / other stuff. Or actually, no, before we do that, actually I forgot. Because it's the new year, I thought it'd be pretty cool, at least kind of to reflect back come 2021. Some predictions of 2020 from a gaming standpoint, pretty much. So, let's go through them. Prediction number 1: Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell will be back and will release within the same year. I think that's pretty likely. We've got some hints and basically some hints. I don't know, I was trying to look for anything else. Some hints and tweets from the devs that there is at least Splinter Cell in the works. Not sure how far into it is, but my guess and prediction is that it's pretty much close to completion, and that we will get a release by this year. I think it'll probably be potentially a launch title. Well, I guess it would have to be. It would probably have to be because of that. But I I think it's time. I think it's time for Sam Fisher to come back. Come back and do what he does. Sell splinters. I don't. I'm sorry, I had to. It was right there. It's right there. It's Splinter Cell. You know what is that? Prediction number 2. Discord will be implemented within next gen consoles. I think we've all seen the hints, especially now, which is still hard to kind of fathom now that like I could play Call of Duty and play with somebody on PS4 or Xbox or PC seamlessly. That's pretty great. Obviously other games as well, but that's at least the latest one that comes to mind. That's at least pretty popular outside of freaking Fortnite, which is I'm just tired of it. But yeah, so I think because of that, we need a pretty much a centralized platform that is pretty, I'd say, the most popular in terms of alternate source to kind of communicate with fellow gamers and whatnot. And in my opinion, probably the best source for that is Discord. It's pretty prominent on PC. There's the app. There's all the servers that people have already in place. We use it for pretty much everything. It will only make sense for it to be implemented in consoles, maybe potentially even like at the launch of next gen consoles, be it PS5, Xbox One, Series X. And Xbox was kind of dabbling in it already too. So it only makes sense, especially with crossplay games, to make that even more seamless, that Discord will be implemented to some extent. Ideally, where you can pretty much do the whole gamut of Discord, parties, servers, chat rooms, voice chat rooms, all that good stuff. So I think that's pretty likely in my opinion, which is why I predicted it. So number 3, Deep Down will launch on PS5 before the end of 2020. I feel it. I hope I hope so. We have not heard about that game in a while. We haven't heard that it wasn't necessarily canceled. It is still in somewhat of a limbo, at least as what we are aware of. So I think it was pretty much about to be a launch thing or title for PS4, but it didn't come to be. So I say now's a great time. You see this happen a lot of times where it was like this title that was going to come out with the generation, but they held back, and then it ends up coming on the next generation in, full effect. I think that is going to be the case with Deep Down. Capcom is in the talks with PlayStation to some extent. They got real buddy maybe in the background that we don't know of, and like we present to you an exclusive by Capcom. You hear nothing, then you see like Dragon breathing fire, and then you see the same somewhat similar footage as Deep Down in the E3 stuff, and then bam, Deep Down launching with PlayStation 5. Believe it. Believe it. Believe it. Prediction number 4. Bloodborne 2 will be announced. Not particularly released. I don't have that much confidence in it being released. I don't think it wants to step on Elden Ring's toes, if that even releases, which I don't even know. That feels like that's up in the air considering how ambitious that game seems to be also. But then again, yeah, so I at least predict that it will at least be announced. Potentially maybe at PS5 reveal event. But I think it's likely. I do think it's very likely. Very likely to be announced, at least. Even better that it does come out within the same year. But considering like From Software's track record, they've been pretty good about, announcing and releasing, delivering on their release date. So I don't think there's really been a game I can think of, at least from Software, that's been pushed back, at least as of late. So I think I feel it. It seems right. Dark Souls is done with. At least that's what they kind of say. You of course you have Sekiro, but it's too soon to kind of like just hash out a sequel. I guess they could do that. They also been having pretty short turnaround times for release. Well, no, generally like 2 years. It seems to be between games. So I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. Gotta believe. Next prediction. xCloud will be bundled with Xbox Live standard subscription. It's currently in its testing phase now. I think pretty much in terms of any steps that Xbox is going to do to put kind of gamers in goodwill with them, I think this is a good start. Having xCloud, being able to stream your games, and also, obviously being able to stream from your console exclusively as well. If, you see that's the best choice or what have you. I think that's pretty likely. Microsoft seems to be the type to do something like that. So that's why I do highly predict that is going to be a reality. Prediction number 6. Devil May Cry Special Edition will be released. I think we've been hearing, I guess not necessarily rumors about it, but I think it's pretty safe to bet based on past behavior, specifically with the Devil May Cry series, that we'll get a Devil May Cry Special Edition, which will include, of course, playable Virgil. Not this damn V, I want to be Adam Driver so bad. I want to be who that dude from the Stranger Things. I forgot his name. You know what I'm talking about though. I want to be so emo and so cool with my damn book with Nightmare and a damn my damn Panther so bad. We want the real Virgil. We want the yin and yang combined. We don't want just yin. We don't want just yang. We want yin and yang combined, and that is Virgil. I think we'll get that in 2020. I really do. Probably, playable Lady, playable Trish, even playable Nico. She got some cool, quirky stuff where she like looking all sexy and stuff. Probably killing demons with her sexiness, probably. Who knows? I mean, anything's up in the air with Devil May Cry, Dante has a damn hat that turns him into Michael Jackson, all right? So anything's pretty much damn possible at this point. I'm just saying, okay? Anything's up in the air. Hence why I predicted Devil May Cry Special Edition will be releasing in 2020. Next prediction. A Dino Crisis remake will be announced. It's pretty much time. I think it is. Resident Evil is back in its prime. They already got the Resident Evil engine in place. They have the foundation of the remakes with Resident Evil 3 on the way. It only makes sense. Dinos are coming back in popularity. You got Jurassic World and all that mess. Jurassic Park and World has already kind of played its course. I think it's enough mind space to do it. To remake Dino Crisis. It's about time. It's about time. It's about time. Next prediction. Double Dragon Axel from Streets of Rage and the Battletoads will be announced as Smash characters. You got recently actually they announced on Smash that the Kunio-kuns, which are basically the same developers that own Double Dragon, will be spirits in Smash Brothers. So I mean, why aren't the Double Dragon spirits either? Because they're gonna be playable characters in Smash. That's the only logical the only logical reason. The only logical reason. Then of course you got Axel from Streets of Rage, the most recognizable beat 'em up character, I guess, next to Cody. But we all know who we really want to play first. Axel. Axel from Streets of Rage. You got Streets of Rage 4 coming out sometime within this year. At least that's somewhat set in stone. It would only be right in the wake of Streets of Rage 4 to promote it by having Axel announced as a playable character. And then you don't, considering the distribution of characters being announced or in the roster for Smash, it honestly isn't a lot of Sega representation from a character standpoint. So it would only make sense, you already have Sonic and pretty much just Sonic. So it only makes sense to get a little bit more representation from Sega, with that being Axel from Streets of Rage. Potentially maybe some of the other characters too. Probably closest maybe Adam from Streets of Rage. But I'd say at least the safest bet is probably Axel from Streets of Rage. You probably get his Streets of Rage 1 costume, 2 costume, 3 costume, and 4 costume. It would only make sense. It's been pretty prominent in terms of the old school days, obviously with the competition between Sega and Nintendo, but now they're buddy, and technically Streets of Rage is on a Nintendo console as well, so it pretty much meets all those requirements. It only makes sense. Only makes sense. And to explain Battletoads, of course, obviously Microsoft has been pretty buddy as well. They have Banjo-Kazooie, which in terms of the rights are owned by Microsoft. So that at least indicates that the likelihood of even more continuation of that is pretty likely. Obviously, Cuphead, which is owned by Xbox as well, is on, or at least a skin now. So, especially in the wake of the release of the Battletoads remake coming up as well, only makes sense to bring back Battletoads. It seems only right. And I would want it. And also, they're like made for Smash. I mean, obviously all their ups, downs, tilts, you can double tap with what's his name? Zitz to run, then he could do his axe kick. It's all there. It's all there. So that's why I had to, because I feel it. I had to predict it. Okay. Maybe not all of them, but I'd say at least one of these is gonna happen for sure. I'm pretty certain. I'm pretty certain. Hopefully I don't eat my words, but we'll have to see, won't we? Next prediction. Xbox Series X will copy the X Media Bar from PlayStation. I guess it's maybe somewhat of a safe prediction. Depends on who you ask, I guess. But clearly a lot of people aren't really satisfied with the current interface of the Xbox One. So I mean, you know what they say, if you can't beat them, join them. Well, obviously Microsoft can't join them. Well, I guess they kind of are joining, because of the agreement with internet or servers and stuff like that. But besides that, you got to emulate. You know, a lot of people praise the interface for the PS4, so it only would make sense that Xbox tries to copy that to some extent. At least to that extent, I believe they're going to rip off the X media bar or X cross media bar, XMB media bar, whatever you want to call it. They're gonna copy the interface of the PlayStation 4. I think that could happen. I really do. Next and final prediction. The PlayStation 5 will have full backwards compatibility. You got PlayStation 1 games? We got you. You got PlayStation 2 games? We got you. You got PlayStation 3 games? We got you, bruh. PlayStation 4? Oh, you already know. All compatible with the PlayStation 5. Not sure they're going to do it, but will all be compatible with the PlayStation 5. And those are my predictions for 2020. I think that's pretty sound. Some bold ones, but hey, if all these are correct, what does that say about me? I'm a damn magician. That's what it says, okay? I'm just saying. So check back in 2021 and I'll put it in your faces, tell you how wrong, how right I was, and that I am I got that JoJo power, or who has or Geo. I had that Geo power. I could predict time in advance. Or damn it, who was it? No, it was the recent season of JoJo's on Crunchyroll. Damn it, what was his name? You know what I'm talking about though. Okay, I don't need to explain myself. All right, JoJo power. All right, or whatever that guy name that can predict watch time go ahead. I think Geo had it too though. I'm pretty sure Geo had that. Yeah, he had it in the one season. I think the second arc or something like that. You know what I mean? I could see stuff ahead of time. All right, damn it. Why am I explaining myself? I already explained myself. All right. I have spoken. This is the way. Moving on to games I've been playing recently. Boy, Call of Duty Modern Warfare has been taking over my life, and I'm loving every damn second of it because it's great. Took advantage of this double XP weekend, double XP and double weapon XP weekend in the wake of Martin Luther King. By the way, happy MLK Day. Totally forgot about that. I have a dream, and my dream is to knock suckers' heads clean in Call of Duty. And that's what I felt I did. So there you go. But yeah, trying to grind that damn battle pass, and man, it is so damn unrespectful of your time, because man, it demands a lot of you. It demands you literally to play pretty much throughout the entirety of the season, which is just because even with double XP, I still don't think it necessarily scales to double XP. It seems to still be the same kind of, or I'm not sure if maybe the further you get in terms of XP that it slows down, which is maybe more than likely the case. But either way, I think I'm on battle tier 55 or 6, and there's like 100, and I've been putting some time into it, man. Because for those that don't know, the tier or the standard tier is at 55, and then and then you can go up to the max of 155 but every new season you go back down to 55 to, you know, I guess rank up again to get, you know, gear and rewards and stuff like that. And the battle pass in particular, but you have to pay for the battle pass at least to get pretty much all the tier, you know, rewards. If you don't, you can get some of them, but not all of them. And, you know, majority you do get for paying for the battle pass, which at least is $10. But if you go through the whole tier pass or all 100 levels, you get all that back to buy the next tier and basically keep the damn loop going. So not sure how I feel about that. And it's very grindy to say the least, but at the same time, the gameplay is just so good. The gunplay is just great. And arguably, I have to say, man, after even playing even more, this is arguably the best Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2. I'm not sure if it's enough to topple Modern Warfare 2 yet, but it is pretty damn close. It is right behind it, if at the very least. It may even succumb it, but it depends on how much I'll still be invested in playing still. But man, the gunplay, the graphics, the whole package is just great, man. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So that's pretty much what I've been playing all damn time. I tried, outside of Call of Duty, tried to play some Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, but it was just this weird barrier I couldn't get past in terms of just a mental block of me playing that game. And I'm probably one of the, you know, few people that hasn't completed a Zelda game. But at least for Breath of the Wild, I put like good solid 20 hours in, but I tried to get back into it, and I don't know. It's just like any other game, I'd be up for it, but I don't know, with Breath of the Wild, it's some just mental block for me that is keeping me from kind of enjoying the game. I guess it's because maybe you get too much freedom to do what you want that I don't know what to do with myself technically in the game. And then, you know, trying to get armor to actually do like shrines to get more health just feels like a whole endeavor. I'm not certain if I really want to, or at least I'm in the mood to go through right now. So that's at least I did try it, but you know, for what it's worth. Outside of that, I kind of hinted at it to some extent, but if you are a follower of Reset Era, you'll see that there is a popular thread, not necessarily popular, but a thread going on regarding the Fantasy League. So the website is Fantasy Critic Games. So this is basically pretty much a cool site where you can basically create fantasy game fantasy league. So think basically fantasy football, but for game publishers instead of, you know, sports teams. So basically you make your own publisher, and then you basically draft in the same manner as a fantasy football. You draft games that you want on your roster, or basically your publisher to, you know, publish or whatever. So pretty much how it works is that when a game comes out, based on its I think Metacritic score, or is it Open? I think OpenCritic. Based on its OpenCritic score, will determine on how many points you get. So anything past 70, I believe, you get points for. Anything below, you get negative points. So let's say hypothetically, and I guess I'll run through my list as well, but at least my first pick, I had to, for my publisher, Hidden Secret Games, is Resident Evil 3. So Resident Evil 3, I'm pretty confident is going to be a pretty damn good game. At least score at least like 85 and up. That's at least my prediction. So pretty much, let's say hypothetically it does score that 85. 85 score, so I get 15 points because it's 15 points above 70. So that's 70 points I get. 15 points I get to my total fantasy points. And then basically pretty much it's a amount of games you have. So pretty much with my league that I'm playing in, we have, let's see, 9 games. So pretty much I have to wait for all these 9 games to come out, and then whoever has the highest score collectively wins, basically. So kind of the general gist of it, just to kind of give you an impression. So let me show you my damn dream team of games I got on my publisher, Hidden Secret Games. I got Resident Evil 3, banger. Halo Infinite, hit. Bayonetta 3, a damn platinum hit. No More Heroes 3, gonna be extravagant. Streets of Rage 4, you already know. And then I made some ballsy picks, which is kind of going in line with my prediction. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell 2020. So for this, to kind of explain that, so you can actually predict games, or predict games that aren't announced yet, and you'll secure that if it does get announced. So it's kind of a risk, at least for me, a high risk, high reward. So let's say I predict Splinter Cell and it actually is announced, then I'll have that game linked, and then if it does come out within the same year it's announced, I'll get whatever that game is scored. More than likely, definitely 90 and above, I'm pretty certain. And then, that's more points for me. And then I'm technically stealing that from anybody else from getting it, because I already predicted it in my team roster. So then I also got Overwatch 2. That's guaranteed. That's at least a safe 80 if at worst. Then Crossfire X. So this game is huge in Korea, I believe. And then now they're bringing it exclusively for the Xbox to the West with a exclusive campaign from the folks at Remedy. I think are being involved, in a couple others, I want to say. So I think that alone, I think that's going to at least give it at least 85 for sure. It's hard to kind of mess up a formula of a established game, and so to bring that to the West, I think it's just only gonna solidify a pretty great score. So 85 at least. And then again, with the ballsiness, I have to go big or go home. That's all I'll say. Deep Down. So if they announce that and it releases within this year, boy, I probably got a solid 95. Let's be honest. I hope to God that game is good, because boy, my team is riding on that too. So yeah. So but also, let's say Deep Down, they announced it, but it didn't come out this year, then I don't get any points for that game. So it's kind of it's a lot of risk to take into this. So for the site itself, it's free for you to sign up and create a league and play with your friends. So that's pretty much what I'm doing now. I'm playing with a lot of folks on the era. So we're having a reset era competition. Our league is called We Forgive You King League. So if you ever want to go on the site, visit that and see the standings. For me and my publisher, Hidden Secret Games, amongst all the other publishers I'm competing against, that is the site to check it out at. And then you can also follow it, so you kind of keep up and see what changes and stuff. And as the year goes, as we go throughout the year, obviously the E3 and PlayStation's keynote or event where a lot of games are more than likely going to be announced, you can draft games or bid on games, and whoever has it's a hidden bid system, so whoever has the highest bid will be able to draft that game to their publisher. So it's a lot of cool dynamics throughout the year, which is going to be pretty fun to kind of stay invested in and see kind of what happens and kind of shapes out from that. But all in all, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to hitting secret games, being the top of the top, because Splinter Cell and Deep Down are going to come out within the same year of 2020. I'm kind of mad though. I'm kind of offended. So there's this also this other element to the game called counter picking. So basically, we each get 2 counter picks. So counter picks are basically, I think a game from another publisher either won't come out or won't do very well. So then it's best for me to counter pick that game, since we're forced to anyway. So for, let's say, this person has, let's say, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. So let's say that gets what, like 65 on OpenCritic. So if it gets 65, he'll obviously get a negative 5 points, but I'll get plus 5 because it's 5 below 70, which for me is good because I counterpicked it and predict that game is not going to be that good. Or if a game just doesn't come out that year, you're still safe too, because basically it's no negative points against you if it doesn't come out. So that's kind of at least the dynamics you kind of have to kind of come into play when you're considering, drafting and all that stuff and counter picking and things like that. So at least for me, just kind of give you a concept. I counter pick somebody who predicted or is predicting a Horizon Zero Dawn sequel will come out this year, which I don't think will. It may be announced, but may not. I don't think it's going to come out this year. So hopefully if it doesn't come out, then I'm good. But if it does and it scores a 90 or 100, I am fucked. So kind of really cool, fascinating way to kind of get a gauge of stuff like that. So yeah, all in all, looking forward to the year. And it's going to be cool because now you're going to have more investment in the press announcements and the announcements in general, like at E3 and stuff. You're like, come on, Splinter Cell. Come on, Splinter Cell. So that's going to be pretty fun. But all in all, yeah, definitely recommend, if you guys haven't or, interested, check out Fantasy Critic Got Games. Not sponsored, obviously, of course. But it's pretty damn cool. And again, it's free. So, hey, it's free. I mean, you can't be free. So, also big ups to Easy Allies. I think I watched their content a lot, and they're doing this too. So I was like, you know what? Let me try this out this year. And that's exactly what a lot of us folks on the Reset Era thread are doing. So, yeah, definitely check out the site. And if you're interested in how I compete or stack up with the league throughout the year, feel free to follow the league, which you can do when you look it up. And yeah, so, but all in all, that's pretty much what I've been up to as of late. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it outside of that. But yeah, I think that'll do it for this week's show. Again, if you have any questions you'd like to submit to the show that will be answered and addressed, feel free to submit them to aswitchtv@gmail.com. If you could, if you did enjoy the podcast or provide any constructive criticism to the podcast, feel free to rate, subscribe on your respective podcasting platforms, which I should be available on. If there is one maybe you want that I'm not, feel free to reach out and I can definitely do my best to make that happen. But yeah, all in all, I think that takes care of it. Until next time, guys. I drew that out, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine.